And we're live. Hello, Alberto Lee Ravioli. That's how. There are gonna be scholars one day. They're like, yes, out of all the podcasts and all the television shows, there were only 6 that survived the apocalypse, and this is one of them. And they're gonna go back to this, and it's just gonna be, and it's like my half got distorted somehow, and it's just gonna be zoomed in on you, and it's gonna be, your tongue. They're gonna be like, we don't know what he was trying to say. He may have been disabled. It's just them.
They might have been too advanced for their time.
Who knows? They were probably so much smarter than us.
Imagine 1,000 years from now, like there's no remnants of our current society. It's just like fucking nothing, and then there's just a disc, and on the disc is this podcast. And me and Malkova poured. So they have to piece together our entire like culture and traditions and history based on this podcast and me and Malkova porn video, like a single one. Like those.
How are they connected? How are they...
like those sample videos? You know how when you're trying to look for porn,
yeah,
and you go and you keep finding those 8-minute sample ones.
Oh my god! And you like it ends and you're like, what? Oh,
yeah.
Why? Wait, I want the next part.
You want the 35-minute one? You want the one that like establishes character and story arc.
Has all the plot in it.
Yeah,
you're like, wait, why are they arguing at the beginning? Why are they okay with everything by the end?
Where do they go from arguing? How do they go from arguing to fucking into each other? I would like to know this.
And why is he connected to this guy in a white shirt and this other guy in a black shirt?
Yeah.
Why was his tongue out? I mean, hers was. Oh, that's the connection.
Shine a light on his face. I just see giant black dots. Oh, you mean like this? Is this what you're fucking asking for? Is it okay if I read the chat sometimes?
Yeah, dude. That's totally fine.
Alright, because I saw your fucking warning, so I wanted to make sure it was okay for me to read the chart. You know, I'm sorry. Read the.
It's okay. It's okay. I just don't like with you and me. It's not gonna be a problem. I just have it up there, kind of like so people don't get mad if we don't read it. You know, with you and me, like we can read chat and stay on our topics. With other people, it's like we're not so goofy and funny the whole time. You know, so it's a little harder to like when I was talking to Sneaky Bro. You know. Like, we're friends, but we're not like you and me friends. We can't just sit here and joke and then get back to semi-serious conversations.
How did that
like,
how
it's
did that
nothing.
go?
It went pretty good. He's mad. I talked to Dylan. Like, I only got to talk to half of them. Half of the Sneaky Brothers. But
half of the brothership.
Half of the brothers. But it's like, that would have been a podcast where if we were reading chat the whole time, we would have got way off topic, like, the whole time. You know what I mean? But you and me, we have known each other for at least a month. And, you know, we've built up a pretty good rapport, and you know.
Sometimes I pick my nose so deep it touches my brain.
I mean, I think that's the most relatable thing anyone has said on one of these podcasts. My viewers are pretty stupid. The two I see in chat. Never mind.
I'll probably mention this several times throughout this podcast, but if you guys are wondering what I'm eating, it is foreskin jerky.
Just before we continue, and I don't want you to change anything, I just want it to be known that my dad is watching. My dad, like, religiously watches my podcasts now. So I just want it to be
that's fine.
understood. Yeah, no, I understand. I just want it to be known that I'm not the only one that knows that going forward, just because he'll think it's way funnier that we know. Because he'll ask, like, hey, did he know I was watching? Like, that'll be funny.
Like, you want me to say I'm not eating foreskin jerky and lie just because your dad's watching?
No, I want him to know. He's got to know what kind of people I surround myself with. What the people I've decided to surround myself with in life as my companions for this crazy thing that we're going through.
I know off the bat, human foreskin jerky may sound a little, like, weird, but, like, if you give it a fucking chance.
Yeah, it's probably amazing.
It's got very good nutritional value and succulence.
For the people that are in here and the people that will watch it, including and especially my father, you were the first person that, like, when I was 20 years old, I told my dad, I sat in our living room, I was like, listen, I want to go to Vegas with this guy I met online to meet these other guys I watch online. And it was the first moment where I was like, I had any understanding of, oh, this is gonna be okay on both fronts, because my dad was like, fuck it,
Right.
I guess, and and like when I tell the story to people who don't know, they're like, well, what kind of people, like how many people, like did you go as a group? I was like, no, it's just me and this one dude, a little older than me, Armenian guy, like around
hairy.
here, that's a very hairy. It was like a sketchy scenario for when I tell the story, and then it ends up being one of the greatest weekends ever. Like just
fun.
dude, it was so fun when Darth Vader pulled out the fucking lightsaber, dude.
Oh my God,
we both we were like, oh, we were like just hitting each other's chests.
Actually, that I wore during that movie because the skid mark patterns there are revolutionary.
You cut out before I heard skid mark patterns. They were revolutionary.
Why did I cut out?
I don't know. I think it's my Discord. It's a little buggy. So
I was saying, I saved the boxers from that movie.
Okay, things make sense now.
Because the skid mark patterns are like insanely like revolutionary, like never seen before. Like
it's like a Jackson Pollock.
like hieroglyphics kind of shit.
It'll be the third thing on that DVD of us, me and Malkova, and like just a picture of that for like a 5-minute still of that picture.
It won't even be the picture; it'll be the actual underpants.
They'll be what the DVD was wrapped in.
There'll be a box, and as this podcast progresses, we'll fill that box with what is
everything that's going to be found.
So
yeah.
Right now we have this podcast, a disc of this podcast, cut with me and Malkova porn, and the underpants with perpendicular skid marks.
I can't wait to figure out what this box is going to be. And I can't wait for the crazy diehard fans of the future to create it.
Just 2,000 years from now, just fucking...
when we're in robot, when we're like, our bodies are robots and we're still alive. Oh, it's going to be amazing. But yeah, I do want to kind of get back to it just because I know my dad will watch this. And he's never really talked to you guys. He talked to Bumper once, which was hilarious, and Bumper won't remember. But I was like, yo, Dad, hey, this is my friend Bumper. I want you to talk to him. And he was like, hello? And Bumper's like, hey, Charlie's dad, how are you? And then he was like, good, how are you? What are you doing? He's like, I'm smoking weed. And my dad looked at me and was like, He's like, okay, you have a good night, Bumper. And he handed me the headset.
Did you preface that conversation with context of who and what?
No. There's no reason. It's way too funny to just let it happen, you know? Yeah. Like Bumper's like a essence. You just have to like feed
Bumper
people the
essence. Let's start off for the people in your chat who or what Bumper is.
My Discord keeps crashing. Or like it's cutting out.
Keeps lagging, yeah, but it's okay.
Yeah, we'll work around it. For the people
for those in your chat who don't know who or what Bumper is, he doesn't exist. Let's just start that's the bottom line. He doesn't exist. He's a theory.
Yes.
He's a theory that's been
the Bumper conundrum.
Yeah, he's been spoken into existence, and he's taken the shape of a fucking.
Careful with your words, dude.
Yeah.
I know where you would.
Half of Nick's mods don't exist. No, I don't. I just think it's Bumper.
Damn, is he saying that Bumper is 1/2 of Nick's mods? Bumper is 1/8 of one of Nick's mods. Wait until you see him. He is an MMA fighter scaled down to a 4 foot tall person. That's what he looks like when you see him.
He's from the future and the past.
Yes, he's basically not from the present is the only rule in his existence.
I mean, I think we've already accumulated enough evidence to prove that he's a robot.
If he's not a robot, he's a gas that is shaped like a robot.
Yeah.
And he's tricking us.
Because he 100% transmits like secret government information to the Soviet Union, which doesn't exist.
Yes. It's part of the Czech Republic.
yeah, it exists for Bumper
because he's still in the past.
Yeah, because if you're familiar with how Twitch delays work, Bumper's Twitch delay is a couple of decades long.
It's a hefty one.
Yeah.
He really doesn't want anyone to stream snipe him.
Yeah.
He's playing a big tournament, the CS:GO tournament where they use Nerf guns.
Yeah, right now he's probably floating above like a lamppost, reading a book that hasn't been published yet.
It doesn't have words or pictures. It's just blank pages, but they're all green instead of white.
Yeah, and they smell like clementines.
I think that's the only smell Bumper smells. Ooh, phone call from
Sorry
Alberto.
about that.
It's okay. I think that the only smell Bumper smells is clementines. I think
That's
that when people do listen to this, they're gonna think they're gonna think a lot of things. But the number one thing is they're gonna think that we're both baked. We definitely every time we have conversations.
Neither of us are right now.
Yeah,
So
which is
let's just
bananas
establish that
for most people. Yes, you wanted to be.
Yeah, I tried to be, but there was
tried.
nothing rolled up.
There's nothing prepared, nothing ready for you, and I just don't smoke, which is a shocker to many of my close friends and family members. When they talk to me, they still, I don't think, believe me.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so I want to do, because there's always going to be a small problem with you and me doing a podcast, and that's only that we are going to ramble about absolute nothingness for a very long chunks of time, so I have to like keep it grounded a little tiny bit.
Like 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's just from the moment we started to Miyamako porn, chopped up with this and streak marked underpants, like that was all in the first 25 seconds.
And then bumper.
And then the bumper thing and Czech Republic was mentioned, I believe. Like we definitely will get carried away, dude. Imagine.
Clementines.
I wish that we could hear every 10th word we've ever said to each other. And just write them down. The absolute nonsense that it would say.
I actually have them written down.
I know. I wanted it to be like a thing that I set up so in the future we could release it since we do have it, but now you've ruined it. So now it'll just be for us forever. Seriously. Kunta Kinte. For real though, I'm gonna try and keep it grounded, as hard as it's gonna be.
Okay, man. I'm fine with whatever.
I know, dude. It just we get so carried away. Right.
I can't
keep a serious face for a second. Go. Hold on. Go.
Bro, shut up! I'm looking at you. How can I keep a serious face?
That's facts. That's a good point. Okay, look. I want to introduce. Look at chat, dude. What is that?
I saw that.
Okay, it befuddled me. I can say befuddled.
That's what bumper is right there.
That's bumper. That word that you put, Snipes.
Yeah.
That's bumper.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyway, we're not gonna mess with it. We're gonna keep it grounded for a minute. I want to explain to everyone who you are and how we met and what our ideas of how we met are, because we've had this discussion in Discord before, and everyone has like different memories of how we all met.
Well, I could tell you how it really happened.
Okay, tell me what you remember happening.
It's
tell me what happened.
No. Don't do that fucking face.
Tell me what happened, Alberto.
I'm gonna chew this foreskin jerky with.
Yeah, okay, dude. I'm gonna tell everybody what I remember. I definitely remember. Shake is the only one I'm like positive on. Bumper is a close second where I'm like pretty sure, and you and Nathan, like, it's like up in the air. Shake I met like 4 or 5 months before we all became. I met Shake first. I met Shake playing Call of Duty with Scuff Jumping on Black Ops 3 pubs. He's the first one I met, like, that in our little core, me, Shake, you, Bumper, and Nathan. And I met him, and I only talked to him for like a day, and then I didn't talk to him for like until we all got in a call one day where I was like, yo, we were like looking for a fourth, and I was like, yo, this guy's on, and I played with him once, and he's decent, and we hit him up, he joined, and fucking everything happened. That's how I remember Shake, meeting him. I remember meeting him once, and then many months later, hitting him up and being like, yo, you want to play with me and a few of my friends on UMG or whatever the fuck? And or ranked or whatever it was on Black Ops 3, and then we, everything started hitting off. How do you remember meeting everybody?
Well, I didn't talk to anybody from you guys' group until July of 2016.
2016?
Yeah, that was the Black Ops 3, like the July of Black Ops 3.
July, August, September, October, November, December. 5 months into you and me knowing each other, we went to Vegas. That's crazy.
No, not 5 months, bro.
Yeah, I mean...
A year and 5 months.
You're saying 2016. The Vegas event was 2016. December 2016.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, because Infinite Warfare came out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so... Yeah, because I used to have an Xbox. Well, yeah, I still do, but I used to have an Xbox. I used to play only on Xbox. I didn't have a PS4. And a lot of the people that I knew, like, from Nick's stream, played on PS4. So I I eventually in July got a PS4, and I hit up Nathan because I knew you guys would always like be in a party playing together, and I said, "Hey, is it cool if sometimes I join and play with you guys because I got a PS4?" And he's like, "Yeah, for sure." And then like shortly after that, I joined a party once, and um, it was you, Jacob, Nathan, Nikki. I don't remember who else was there, but at the time, and then
Yeah.
eventually that's how it did. We would just hang out in Discord until Nathan got a capture card because he wanted to stream.
That was
And
Modern Warfare days. That was like
no,
right after.
that was September of Black Ops 4, before Infinite Warfare.
Really?
Because I remember, yeah. Cause
Did he ever stream Black Ops?
Yeah, he streamed like solos and stuff.
Oh, okay.
But basically, what happened was he got an AverMedia capture card, so we could all stream. I mean, so he could stream, and then we realized if he streams with a capture card, whoever watches won't be able to hear us because we would be in party chat.
And so that's why we started switching over to Discord.
And yeah, and then after that, we would just spend every day in Discord.
See, that's where our story divulges a little in who is for sure right, because the way I remember it is I remember you introducing me to Nathan.
No way.
Are you sure? See, that's where I just can't. That's the thing that makes me mad, because Nathan's probably my best friend. Nathan's like definitely right there at the top. I've spent more time in this community with him than anyone else, as far as just talking and hanging out with. And like, I can't believe I don't remember how I met him. Because I remember meeting Shake so vividly. I remember I was playing XPs with Arpy and Neo, and we needed a fourth, and I was like, yo, Bumper from Nick's chat, he's really good. And Neo was like, not as good as me. And like, it was like a fun joke thing. And Bumper joins like, hey, Bumper, idiot, think you're good? Think you can wall run like I can on Black Ops 3 in Redwood? And like, we just started we made a custom match, and then we ended up playing XPs that night. And that's how like Bumper, that's how I got to be really good friends, because I played with him like one time for a second. And then me and him stayed in the call all night that night after Neo and Arpy got off.
Right.
And then that's how he kind of made his way in.
Bumper didn't spend a lot of time with us when I first started talking to you guys, because Bumper was mainly playing with like Kalina and people and Mal and people like that. He didn't play with us much.
He would join real late night sometimes and just kind of sit there.
Yeah.
If he was there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he only started joining the Discord more and more like as time passed.
Yeah. And then he became the little gremlin that we've come to know now. Dude, there are some people. I've said it a few times. That's how you know it. That's how you know it's true, because we both said it. And we're not the first people to say it. I'm pretty sure Nick says it every time he mentions Bumper. He's like, "Hey, Bumper, Gremlin," and then he's like, "Hey, how's it going, Bumper?" And he just says Gremlin real fast. But
I thought he calls him
No, that's Gage.
Oh yeah.
Imagine Gage saying that. You think Gage could say that? I don't think his mouth can make that sound. Like,
I don't think he physically can say what I just said.
Yeah, I don't think his voice can do the thing he needs to.
I think his mind would just shut down. He would just pass out.
His head would just like crinkle like a can, like a soda can getting crushed.
Right. He would just his mind would just shut and power down.
Bumper is the funniest person without trying to be funny I've ever met. You make me laugh harder than anyone else has ever made me laugh. But you're trying to, you know what I mean? I mean, it's great. Like you and Shake are so funny. Right. You guys make me laugh harder than anyone else can because you're trying and you're good at it. But Bumper makes me laugh as hard, if not harder sometimes. Just being,
especially when it's face to face.
Oh my!
When you can see him, when you ask him something and you see him
sitting in that hot tub. the stuff we just sitting at that house in Anaheim in the hot tub, just looking at him. You just look up like,
bro.
Yeah, hello.
It's it's borderline fucked up.
It's like, I feel like I'm laughing. I feel like it's wrong. I feel like we shouldn't. Like, it should be a bad thing that we're laughing at him.
It's so
look at Bumper. Funny, dude. It's so funny watching him.
Especially when you're high as fuck. and you like, and Bumper says anything. It's just funny.
If you could be sober and you say anything, like it's crazy. Dude, like, and Nathan is almost like on like a technically similar scale. Like what Bumper does by accident, just looking over at him. If you look over at Nathan, the shit he says on purpose to make you laugh, the timing is amazing. Like we really have a ridiculous group of 5 people that, and I mean the 5 people has turned into like 15. Dude, Gary is one of the funniest people I've ever met in my life, but like by all for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Like I feel horrible when I laugh about that or near Gary. I feel like Gary's the kid in school that if people laughed on the other side of the room, he was like, "Are they laughing at me?" Because everyone would laugh at Gary. I feel bad for him. I feel bad knowing that probably happened to him and that we still do it to him, and know that we do it. How's it like? What's it like living with him now? Like, how crazy is it that you live with Gary?
It's pretty nuts. Like the fact that I actually live with Gary and Daniel. Like it's
and Maz.
And Maz, yeah, Maz. No, it's cool, man. I like it. It's fun. Like I mean, I've never lived like outside of living with my folks, so it's like it's a new experience, but it's fun, man. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy like having company a lot of the time, you know, with like Daniel and Gary's not around the house much during the day.
Yeah,
but,
I love.
It's like almost every evening we have like we're all just downstairs, all the 3 of us just chilling, smoking and laughing and watching The Office or whatever. Like every night. Like it's rare that we'll have a night where all 3 of us aren't down there for a few hours. It's like it's almost every night because Gary comes home from when the next stream is done. Gary comes home, he like makes his food, and then I make my food, and Control is like rolling up weed, and then we just eat and smoke, and then like, you know, it's cool. I like that kind of like atmosphere. It almost feels like when we go to places within like for an event or whatever with like an Airbnb when we go with all of us. It's like almost like that, but on a permanent basis.
Yeah,
it's fun.
I never like would think talking to you online that you'd be as good of like a host as you are when we were in Anaheim and you were like showing us LA and everything. Mm-hmm. Like because when people talk to you, you're hilarious. Like you genuinely, it's like insane how funny you are and how funny you like don't even need to be funny. What's up? You good?
Sorry, I heard something. 1 second, man.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, what's up, chat? You guys, have any of you guys never seen Albert before? Who has never seen Albert? Or heard him or anything? Charlie, blink if you're being held hostage. I saw him blink. Send in the team, boys.
Oh, it was just a burglar.
Oh, okay, that's good. That's good. Me, okay. I was asking people if they had never even seen or heard from you before, and a couple of the people have never seen or heard from you before, so that is fun information.
I like to live in the shadows.
You and Bumper both. Bumper refuses to do the podcast. I'm gonna read you this turkey.
And like I don't know why, but I know why.
Yeah. I said so a few times. I've asked him. The first time I asked him, I said, "Would you like to do a podcast in a couple hours?" He said, "No, sorry, eggplant." I said, "It's okay. I'm doing one anyway." He said, "Whore." A couple weeks later, I said, "Hey, would you like to do the podcast tonight?" He said, "No." I said, "It would be very cool if you would be down." He never responded. Right. And then 2 days ago, I said, "Hey, would you be down to record a podcast, but it not be live, like just for YouTube?" And he said, "No." He always just responds no. I said, "Why?"
I don't think he's into that kind of thing. Man.
Yeah, I don't think. But like he would be so good at it. I don't think he understands how good he would be, like for a podcast.
Once you get Bumper going, like
it's over. Topic, he'll talk for an hour. Yeah, you could talk and he wouldn't even hear you.
And he'll say like, and he'll speak very intelligently and like.
He's smarter. Like he's smarter than he thinks he is. He doesn't think he's smart, and that's the problem. He doesn't understand that he's smart. He thinks he's dumb and that people will make fun of him.
Bumper is a very smart person.
We fucked him up. I take full I take 98% responsibility. You and Shake each get a whole percent. Well, you get 1.5%. Shake gets a 0.5%.
Golf with friends takes about 17%.
Yeah, at least 17. We have bullied Bumper a little bit more than I felt I didn't notice until, the last few months just how much. Really, since Anaheim, I didn't really notice how much, and I feel really bad. I felt really bad when I understood. Whenever I looked at Bumper in the eyes and was like, Bumper, like, it's jokes, right? And like this moment of clarity where he was like, yeah, it's jokes. Like, where I was like, he didn't know it was jokes. Fuck. Like, I felt horrible. I felt so... Because Bumper's one of my favorite people on this planet.
None of what I said was jokes. I was totally serious.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I hate him. I don't think we're friends.
Yeah, I think he's dumb.
He's a dumb human being.
Yeah.
Bumper, I love you. But I love Bumper, seriously, so much more than... like so many other people that I see on a regular basis. Like it goes my dad, like you guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it's that close for me.
Yeah.
Like there's very few people that I love as much.
For me it goes my family. Mm-hmm. You guys, all the friends, everybody, Kim Jong-un, Saddam Hussein, fucking Hitler, and then Maz.
Yeah, and Pablo.
Oh yeah, Pablo and Maz are tied.
Yeah, they're tied for somewhere down below Hitler.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's so funny. Like you are such a good host when we went to LA and everything, and like you're so good at showing people around, and you seem so cultured. And like you've seen a bunch of stuff and people, and seeing you with a dog on Snapchat, it's like seeing a person who's never had a dog. Because have you ever had a dog before? And you're like, no.
Never had a pet.
It's so funny. It's so funny seeing you just love hanging out with a dog. It's so great.
I've never even had a pet dildo.
Yeah, I mean, dude, they're like, and they're so plentiful.
Yeah.
Like, and you have and Maz is a great dog. That's the best part, is that he's such a good dog, like a cool dog.
He hates me and I hate him, but
yeah, but like at the same time,
yeah, I love him.
He's dude, it's the Snapchats I'm getting from you. I've never been happier to open Snapchat.
When
I see Alberto Ravioli.
Maz and I have a love-hate relationship, literally.
Yeah.
There are times, because look, bro, honestly, because sometimes Control isn't home because he works. And during those times, Gary and I will take care of Maz as if he's like our own dog.
Yeah.
And like even when I'm home alone, I'll go down and like check on him, and pet him a little bit, scratch behind his ears. Like even while I'm working, like when I'm busy, I'll go down and spend a few minutes down there with him because like, he's a dog.
He's the best, dude. You got to hang out with him.
But bro,
that box thing.
There are times when he and I are at absolute odds over everything. Like
dogs are dumb. Dogs aren't people. They're dumb. They're stupid.
Sometimes he annoys me so much I just get up from downstairs and leave and go upstairs.
Talking to you. That box thing that you keep Snapchatting is the funniest shit in the world, when you just see a box and you hear and you're like Maz, and you just see you just see him pop up out of nowhere, dude. It's the greatest shit.
I love him.
It's so funny.
We've upgraded that. Yeah. So the whole thing with the boxes was so basically Maz has like he's relatively potty trained in that when we're all like sitting with him, he'll go and like start touching his nose towards the backyard door to like let us know he needs to go out. But like the problem is, for him, upstairs is foreign to the point where he feels like it's okay to shit up there sometimes.
My dog's the same way.
So if we don't put any barrier, instead of going
that's just his area.
Yeah. So instead of going and touching his nose to the backyard door to let us know he needs to go out, all he does is just go up the stairs and take his shit and come back. And so we put the boxes, but the problem is Maz is extremely smart.
Yeah.
He's very clever.
He looks like a person got turned into a dog.
He's very clever.
Like he looks like he has a person face.
Yeah.
It's weird.
And no matter what configuration of boxes I put, he ended up figuring out how to get past them. Because at the end of the day, boxes are collapsible. Yeah. So with enough strength, you can bend them.
Yeah, just get them out of the way.
Yeah. So, and at times I think he thought I was training him to get past them.
So he's like, I did it. I did it.
Yeah, exactly. So what would end up happening is we would spend an hour of me putting the boxes and standing there because I want to see if he can get past it.
But he's thinking, "Oh, you want me to get past it?"
Yeah, exactly. So he tries so hard.
Oh, it's Sisyphus.
And he does it.
This is Sisyphus climbing the mountain.
Yeah, and then I have to rearrange them, and so so eventually, Daniel's mom sent us a gate.
So now he just has a gate.
Yeah, so there's no way for him to really go upstairs anymore.
How hard was it, like, having to go down the stairs and move the boxes each time? Like, how annoying was it? That's got to be the worst.
It was kind of annoying seeing, like, because what happens is I keep my door closed when I'm in my room.
Yeah.
So there would be times when I would be thinking, oh, what if he got past the boxes? So I would have to go open my door and look to see. And sometimes he would. Sometimes he would just be like upstairs when I would open the door. I'd be like, fuck, and then I'd have to, because the problem is he knows that he's not allowed up there.
Oh, excuse me.
Alone. So when he does get past the boxes, it was really hard to get him back down again. I would have to bait him with snacks and stuff, because he knows, like, once he's down there, he's not gonna be able to come up again. So, he's clever, man. He's really clever. Like, a couple of times, like, pretending I have, like, snacks in my pocket, or waving around a bag of, like, snacks, and him fucking running after him. A couple of times that works, but then once he realizes that I'm, like, fucking tricking him, he once he ends up, like, realizing that I'm, like, lying about the snacks and that I'm not giving him the snacks, all he does is basically just not fall for it anymore. So I have to think of a new way to bait him to go downstairs.
My dog. I've lived in I've lived in 3 houses with this dog, and every time she has her upstairs, her place, that she's like, oh, I'm never gonna be over there. Fuck that place. I'm pooping there. And, like, right now it's over there. It's just behind I have a bar in my room. Right. I have, like, it's like a basement where I live, and the behind the bar is like, well, I can't see it most of the time, so I'll poop over there. That's become her thing. Right. And luckily she's getting pretty good at. I let her out like 8 times a day now. So like every time I open the door, I'm like, you want to come out? And she's like, oh, are you kidding? There's grass out there. Of course I'm gonna go outside. So she goes out, and she's getting better, but like she's always like she won't pee. She just poops. She will hold it. She will hold it, and well, he's like a puppy though. He's like just a few months old. She got over peeing pretty.
No, but the thing is Maz,
for the most
Maz does make a very conscious effort to let us know. Mm-hmm. The problem is just when no one's around. That's the problem, because then he both can't go outside because the door's closed, and he can't get upstairs because that's blocked. So sometimes he just whines and ends up peeing because he can't hold it anymore. Mm-hmm. But when any of us are down there and he needs to go out, like, it's very clear. He makes it very clear. He'll just be playing with his toys, or he'll be sleeping, and then, like a robot getting activated, he'll just stop, stand up, and just walk straight to the door and stand and look outside, and look back. Like, he has this look when he just looks back like that. Yeah.
My dog will just sit, like, at my feet, and, like, she'll touch my leg with her nose and be like, Right. Yeah. And then I'm like, what? And she's like, and I'm like, okay, relax. Like, she just makes this, like, it's like she's grunting, but, like, whining. It's like a whine grunt.
Somebody wants to know what's hanging off my mic. It's actually a remnant of my dick.
Yes, if you guys don't know, Alberto.
In my culture, it's lucky to hang a remnant of your dick from your microphone.
And the jerky he's eating is also part of the. They're all remnants. Yes.
Right. That's the foreskin remnant.
For me, it was so out of nowhere. How did you get wrapped up working for Dexerto? Because when it happened, for everyone else, like there have been times for me and Nathan especially where we were gone for like chunks of time just because of life shit, And during one of those times, I come back and you're just a writer you're not working at the bank anymore. You're a writer for Dexerto, and it's like happened all at once. And I was like, whoa, what? And it just became my norm, and I never really asked what happened.
If it felt like it was fast, it's because it was literally over a 3-day thing.
Jesus.
On a Tuesday, I was working at the bank with the mindset of I'm just gonna be working here until I finish school, and then on Friday I was handing in my 2 week notice that I was quitting. Like that's how fast it happened. So it was extremely fast, and all of a sudden, for me and for as much
What
like
what what happened? Did Mike just tweet
so
out like I need writers, and you were like, hey, I
so
have this
somebody
degree and
yeah
I know how to write and
so somebody retweeted a tweet from the Certo page saying we need a U.S. because back then, when I first started, the Certo was I mean it was established, but it was a small operation, especially because it's I mean for those who don't know, the Certo is based in the UK.
Mhm.
Um, but so at the time
Dexerto
they
is
had
a gaming news website.
yeah it's
Yeah.
a gaming news website, yeah, and it's based in UK, and they had one U.S. writer, and he lived in Boston. So what they needed was a U.S. writer based in the West Coast to cover some of the West Coast hours. And someone retweeted that tweet on that I follow, so I saw it, and I was like, wait a minute, I consider myself a good writer. I know esports very very well. I mean, I've always loved sports journalism, and I mean that's not too far off esports journalism.
It really isn't.
And I live in the West Coast, um, and in LA, which is like where you would want somebody to
Yeah.
live if you're yeah. So I was like, so I contacted them, and they said, okay, here are 3 sample fake article. They gave me fake article topics
Yeah.
to write articles about, and said send these and your resume. And then I really wasn't sure I was gonna do it. The next day, I actually hit up Nathan and I asked him. I told him, I'm like, hey, bro, so there's this opportunity. I don't know if I should do it. I don't know, it just seems maybe it's not like something that I should do. And then he's like, nah, just try it. I mean, whatever, bro. Like, just send in your stuff. Maybe you'll get it. So I ended up sending it, and literally the next day, a Mike called me and said, "Do you have some time? I want to talk to you on the phone." So we had about an hour and a half conversation on the phone, and at like 30 or 40 minutes after that, he messaged me back saying, "Listen, man, there's nothing else I need to know. Like, I'm ready. We're ready to hire you. Here's what the pay that we're offering. Um, once I get the final approval from like everyone on the board, job's yours." And I said, "Okay, cool." And then like an hour after that, he said, "Okay, I talked to everybody and everybody's on board. So, the job's yours." And I was like, "Sick, man." And then I told my boss at the bank, and then I handed in my resignation letter, and then I went and told my folks and my friends, and that's when I like told most people
Yeah.
after that. I don't like to like share news until it's like
For
100%,
sure. Yeah.
because I'm not like superstitious in a lot of ways, but in some ways I am. And honestly, it's not even because of like it's not for no reason. Like so I would probably put it at 75% of the time I've ever thought something's done before it's actually been done has ended up not working out the way I wanted it to, because I've like went said it too early or spoken too early. And that goes for sports too. That goes for sports when I've like started like celebrating for my team winning a little too early and they end up losing. It happens so much that I just now like I don't consider
Don't
anything
even want to watch
final.
the game sometimes. You just want to let it
Yeah,
happen.
like I just literally like I don't want to say, hey guy, like I don't want to like tell people like, hey guys, like you know I got this job when it wasn't 100% yet. But yeah, that's basically how it happened. And I really respected the people I worked for at the bank, so I didn't just quit. I gave them a 2 week notice. So I worked
Yeah.
for 2 weeks, and then I started with the Certa after that. It was in February of 2017. So
Hmm.
it's almost 2 years now that I've been
That's
there.
crazy. It
But
feels
since
like.
then, I was gonna say sorry. Since
Yeah,
then,
it's cool.
the Certo's turned from having one
Oh,
East Coast rider and West Coast rider to like we have like 12 or 13 US based riders.
it's
We have
huge.
yeah we own Charlie Intel. Like we own we own the biggest non-official Apex Legends Twitter page, like
Hmm.
outside of the actual official one.
Yeah.
And we were actually verified on Twitter because we would cover previous like Titanfall and stuff on that page. So
Yeah.
we had been verified already before the official Apex Twitter got verified when the game actually came out.
Yeah.
And because
So
of
a lot
that,
of people thought you were the official
yeah,
Apex.
yeah, and to this day we still get messages from people complaining about the game. I could like
That's
I could read
awesome.
yeah, I could read some of them right now. Like is people just like people are literally just like telling us to like fix this, or can you guys add this, or how come this is like that? And it's like, dude, I mean, you can't sit there and respond to every message saying that because
Yeah.
that's never gonna stop.
Yeah.
But but yeah, it's just been like a nonstop, um, like the messages to this day. I mean, it's almost been like what 8 months, 8 months since the game came out,
Apex?
and yeah,
Yeah.
they came out in February, and like they have an official Twitter page with like a lot more followers than we do, but people still like consider us like the official, you know, Twitter page.
It's crazy to see how big everything's getting. Like, like not even in any like Fortnite for sure boomed. You know, it
Right,
really like
right,
imploded. It made everything like it was like a fucking mushroom cloud, and just all the remnants were scattering over all the other communities. Like you had
right.
so many communities explode with Fortnite, and not even necessarily doing Fortnite, just more viewers on Twitch because of Fortnite. Like it
Well, yeah,
exploded with Ninja going and doing TV appearances and all before he moved over to Mixer. I mean, like people still probably join Twitch because of his YouTube. Like daily, there's new viewers on Twitch just based
right,
on the YouTube of him and now Nick and
right.
Tim and all these guys. I mean, it really Fortnite was like there's never been a more universal understanding in a community, even between like I hate Fortnite, but I
Me too.
understand that it is the number one most
Like what?
significant
Yeah.
push that the gaming industry has ever had into
Oh
the
yeah.
mainstream.
It's
Like
like it's like the
it's
only, it's like the game that has transcended the boundaries between
everything.
gaming and other industries. Like never ever, like it's not even been close.
Nothing's
Like
even kind of come close.
right,
Like even a
right,
tiny bit. PlayStation and PC had games that were on PC that got ported for PlayStation that would have crossplay, and none
right,
of them were first person, and none of them were live, like you versus me live. It would be I attack
right,
you. It was like Clash of Clans level stuff.
right, right, right.
Like there's a army game like that, or it's like a
Turn-based
built.
games, yeah,
Yeah, and like
yeah.
that's the only thing that was even kind of similar to crossplay, even in any capacity. And
And bro,
now Borderlands 3 is about to be crossplay. The new Call of Duty is coming out crossplay from
right,
the
right,
off the rip.
right.
Like nothing has ever been bigger,
I mean,
and
bro, they like
it's insane.
When Fortnite went down last week for that, like for a few days
The
because
black hole
like
thing.
yeah, the black hole thing, like that shit made it on the news. Like
Oh
I'm
yeah.
not even talking about fucking like Village Times. I'm talking about like Good Morning America.
CNN and Good Morning America.
Yeah, like they were talking about it on they were talking about it on Good Morning America. Um and other like shows in the UK as well, like in news programs in the UK about how like Fortnite is down and the whole community. I mean, like Fortnite unifies all the group like age levels as well when it comes to gaming, like never before. Because it's still cartoony and childish enough where like fucking 5-year-olds can play it, but it's still as intense enough where like fucking you have 35-year-olds playing it. You know, you never really had a game like that. Because I mean, I know Call of Duty franchise has been huge, but like you didn't have like 6, 7-year-olds playing Call of Duty. You know,
Yeah, I
but
mean you probably did, but it was like
yeah,
they
like
were
I mean,
1 to 5% of the population of the
right,
people playing the game.
right.
Like
Yeah, now you have like fucking,
like half the players are kids, the other half
yeah,
are like it's everyone's playing.
yeah,
There are
everyone's
like
playing,
grandparents playing and
and
streaming.
everyone knows about it.
Yeah,
Like that's the thing too.
everyone knows what Fortnite is.
Right,
I
right.
do cards at a poker game in South Carolina, and these like 70-year-olds are like, Chris, do you know what Fortnite is? Can you explain it to
Right,
me?
right.
And I'm like, oh god,
I have
because I hate it.
I have some relatives who live in Canada who have like a son that's like 12, 13.
Hmm.
Prime
And
Fortnite age.
dude, and it's all he talks about. It's all he
And
wants. V-bucks for
well,
every gift. V-bucks.
his parents came to visit us in LA like a few months ago, and like his dad, like who's my basically their relatives, but
Yeah.
I was talking to that his dad, and he was like telling me how like the kid all he does is play Fortnite all day, and I was like I know, buddy. I know what that is. Trust me. He's like, yeah, he plays. What is it called? Fort something. For I was like Fortnite. He's like, yeah, that's the one. I was like,
Oh,
yeah,
really?
yeah. What a shocker.
Little did he know you were making quizzes on what guns made what
Yeah,
sounds every night.
yeah,
Jesus.
yeah, literally.
I remember
Exactly.
you sending those to us like as like guinea pigs, and I,
Right.
I would literally look at the camera that I didn't have yet and be like, why would you do this?
It was pretty
They were,
cynical
uh,
of them to ask me to make the quizzes.
yeah, because I mean,
Yeah,
you were the only
'cause I don't want to
person.
make them easy, man. Like it's not fun for me.
You're like the only one. You're the only one in our group that like hates Fortnite enough to not play it. Shake says he hates
Yeah.
it. He plays it every night. Nathan
Right.
says he hates it. He plays it all the time.
Right.
Like they all say they hate it, but they keep playing it. Like
Right.
play something else if you hate. I hate it. I can't play it.
I hate it too.
I
Like
cannot
for the,
touch the game.
the only times I've played in the last like, I guess year, was I played it. Well, I played it when Chapter 2 just launched last week. Like I
Yeah.
played one day just to like try it out, and it wasn't bad. It was actually pretty decent.
Yeah.
I played it when Season 9 came out, like a few months ago, like 5-6 months ago, and then I played for like a couple of more days before that. Like that's all I played. And
I
just
played
because
hide and seek when we played hide and seek a
Oh,
while
yeah,
back.
yeah, I played-
that
yeah,
was
The prop hunt?
mad fun, dude. And the
Prop
prop hunt.
yeah.
I haven't played prop hunt. I've watched a lot, and I would like playing it. I just haven't. I don't even have it on this PC yet. On this new PC, I haven't even like tried to download it, but because I don't want to waste space. Like,
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I'm not the. It's gonna be hard for me to go back to that game. Like they'd have to just be like, oh, if you play it, we give you $100.
That's the type of game where like the biggest turnoff at this point is everybody's just so good. That,
Dude,
like, it's
building
not fun.
like building is like such a chore now. It's like
Yeah.
you have to be so good to build as good as some of those
Like
guys.
I haven't played Call of Duty in a while, Black Ops 4. Like it's been a couple of months,
Yeah.
but I could jump.
We could hop
Modern
on.
Warfare.
We could hop on
Yeah.
and go on a tear on ranked play if we had a
and
5-man, no problem.
Yeah, and Modern Warfare is coming out, and I'm gonna hop on, but it's not like Fortnite. Like Fortnite, everybody's just so good now that like, and I'm not, So when I jump on, like, there's literally nothing I could do short of just sitting for 24 hours a day and practicing to get me to that level. Otherwise, like, I just don't like playing a game where I know I'm gonna get shit on every time.
Yeah, I like
Like,
playing Apex to prepare for Modern Warfare because there's no aim assist on Apex for controller, and like just going on kill streaks on that game is so like, it pumps me up knowing how much fun PC Call of Duty is gonna be. Because Apex on PC compared to Apex on PlayStation is the difference is insane. How much more of it feels like a game. Like you feel like you're playing and have a chance, and like the smoothness and like the right. I never use this paddle. I always use my jump paddle. This was always just there. It was useless. And now this is my slide. This is my slide.
Right.
I mean,
That's
like
what I use
my
for slide,
crouch.
too.
It's like so much. It makes so much more sense than any
use
other
this one.
button. Ooh, that's a nice one.
I like it.
How many have you gone through more than one scuff?
No, I've never used a scuff. This is my first one.
That's your first one.
I got
Okay,
I got it as a gift about a year ago.
This was my second, only because my other one got stolen. I don't understand the complaints about these things breaking.
Oh, yeah,
I think there are too many
remember.
gamers going like launching these things.
I mean, honestly, for me, the Xbox One Elite controller,
Is enough of a scuff.
It's well, not that it's enough. It's like ages ahead of what Scuff offers, bro. It's just
Really?
because for the price you pay, you get what you would
yeah.
pay, what you would have to pay like $300 on a Scuff for, and not to mention the fact that it's so much more durable. I used my Xbox Elite controller, which is still here by the way, and it still works.
Yeah.
Like I only unpacked the MFAN one because I wanted to. I got the MFAN one last December, and this is the first time I've used it. I just wanted to like use it because I've never used this Scuff. But my Xbox Elite controller has worked for like 4 years, and it still works perfectly fine. And I understand, obviously, like with an Xbox Elite controller, you have to like go through extra work to get it to work on other platforms, because obviously on PS4 you need a Cronus, and I have a Cronus because when I got my PS4, I bought a Cronus. Because I didn't want to pay $200 for a fucking scuff on the PS4 when I had the Elite controller already. So I just said I'll pay $50 instead for a Cronus, and it worked out perfectly. The Cronus still works, my Elite controller still works. I just figured I want to try the scuff, but yeah, I mean, I would use the Elite controller all day long with the scuff. I mean, just the way the controller feels, the Elite controller is better. Like it's made by Xbox, so it's like I mean it's made by Microsoft, so it's like they've taken the extra care to make like the product much better than what Scuff does. Because Scuff, I mean they mass produce so much that their quality, I mean I'm assuming their quality is just not as good. And bro, like when you get a Elite controller, you get so many of those different fucking joysticks and different like stuff that you can customize it with.
Yeah.
And you have 4 paddles off the rip. And they're so much more smoother. They don't have that stiffness that the Scuff has when you first get it with the clicking. It's just so much better, and it's only $150.
Yeah, mine was 170. This one.
Does it have the electromagnetic mapping or whatever?
I don't know what that means.
You could change like what the buttons are for the paddles.
Yeah. I do it. So I've got that. This was the later Infinity. Like you know what's actually annoying? You see how the buttons are supposed to be like X, square, circle, triangle?
Right.
When I ordered it, I had to spend the extra $10 to get them black because they were out of original buttons.
What?
That's the thing that made me mad.
Yeah.
To me, Scuff has always been perfect. My first Scuff was perfect. Nothing ever bad. There's no problems with it. The only problems I ever had were connection issues, but that's like PlayStation more than it is Scuff, And, I mean, it always was a great controller, and it got stolen. And I was like, what is happening? And then I've gotten this one, and it's been amazing ever since. Except
that's the one good thing about the Vantage is that it's specifically built in to work wired.
Yeah, that's the one thing I wish. I wish I had it, like, mandatorily wired.
Even when you connect your regular, like, PS4 controller or those... for PS Cups and stuff.
It still works wirelessly. It's just charging.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
which is
weird.
And
that's why I like the. That's why I never had controller issues with my Xbox Elite, even though I was playing on PS4.
Yeah, because you had it plugged in through the Cronus.
Yeah, and that was that's why for the last 2 years, all the major tournaments have been played with Cronuses.
This definitely makes it feel more. The reaction time, like the reaction, like from the controller to the PC, because it's wired and it has to be through that wire because there's no wireless signal for it.
Right.
Like it's insane the difference.
Right.
Like on that much of a processing difference. It's so good. Like I can't wait to play Call of Duty on PC and feel it. Like feel what it feels like. It's gonna be insane.
Did you get it already?
Yeah, I have to. This PC came with 2 hard drives. You can preload it today. I tried to, but I don't have enough space on the one hard drive. I have like a 200 and something gig hard drive, and then I have a 2700 something gig hard drive, like a 2+ terabyte, and I can't find it. It's not showing up on my PC anywhere. So I'm gonna try and talk to you later, and or not you, Elite. Sorry, talk to him later and see if he can't help me figure out where it's at because I'm losing it. I want to download it so that because I have to work Thursday night. And whenever I get home Thursday night, it's done, son. I'm hopping on for like 35 hours. like
I still haven't bought mine.
Dude, you gotta get it. I'm so excited.
What kind of like makes me kind of pissed was the weekend that I moved here. That was the PC beta weekend. And so I never got to play it on PC.
I didn't have this PC yet. I was mad too. I can't wait.
Because the reason why I haven't bought it yet is because I want to make sure I like how it runs on my PC before I buy it. But obviously now with the beta gone, there's no way for me to do that.
Yeah.
So
you'll just have to trust me and Nathan and Shake and Bumper and everyone who gets it on PC.
Well, I'm like 99.9% confident my PC will be able to handle it normally because I have a GTX 1080, which
that's Norwegian to me. I don't know what that means.
Well, that's like
really good.
Yeah, that's like I would say, if you're talking about graphics cards, it's probably at this point it's probably like a tier 2 graphics card.
Yeah,
Like, you know, when you, and tier 1 would be like the $500,000 graphics cards.
Jesus.
Not 500,000.
I know. Imagine there was one for that much. You just
there's ones
you
for
insert the graphics card into yourself, and you
like
see it all through your eyes.
There's no game right now that's out that a GTX 1080 won't be able to run expertly.
Yeah.
Like, there's no game.
I was so happy to get this PC just because Borderlands 3 was coming out and I could play it now. So like I'm glad I have it for that, and now I'm like super glad after playing Apex. Like I know what Apex was like on PlayStation. I played it. And playing it on PC is like bananas difference. Like the difference is crazy. So like I can't wait to see what the difference for Call of Duty
Fortnite.
will be.
I mean, you should try Fortnite. Like it's insane the difference.
See, my horrible like scared worry is that I'll play Fortnite and I'll fall in love with it again. I don't want to. I see the stress. I see the stress it causes people who love it. You know what I mean? I don't need that stress. Call of Duty will give me enough stress. I'll be fine with the stress Call of Duty gives me.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna buy and preload it tomorrow, bro, just so it'll be ready for Thursday night, because Thursday night is gonna be a
dude. Like Nick's streaming it on Friday too, which is gonna feel dude. You know how nostalgic that's gonna be for a lot of us.
Like it'll be interesting,
dude.
I wonder who he'll play with, because there's probably like. Because obviously he's streaming it for like, you know, because everybody's streaming it.
Yeah.
And so I wonder like who else is streaming it that he's gonna be playing with. That'll be interesting.
It will be interesting. I hope he plays with Doc at some point.
Oh yeah.
That would be funny. That would be a funny duo, because you know Doc's insight on Call of Duty.
I feel like I don't know if or how much Nick played the beta, but I'm assuming very little to none of it.
I don't think he played it.
Yeah, and so I can foresee him not having a good time on Modern Warfare Pups.
Really? I don't. Well, are there?
I could just.
I don't know. I feel they had a couple modes on there that didn't feel like if he listens to the chat will say play Ground War. He'll love Ground War because it was Battlefield.
He's gonna complain about the mini map. He's gonna complain about. He's gonna be not complain, but he's gonna be frustrated by the mini map. He's gonna be frustrated by like how.
Why the mini map?
Because there's no red dots in the mini map unless you.
I thought they fixed it. Did they not fix that? I thought that they decided that was gonna come back.
No, they added a mini map, but they didn't. But the red dots are still off unless you get a UAV.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
that does suck. But you know, I think that it'll feel a little refreshing because it is a good. The movement's nice. Everything's nice. Like it feels good when you play it.
I don't really enjoy the pubs too much, man. I didn't like I said I didn't play Ground War because
it was the by far the best version of the game we've gotten so far. But we didn't get any S&D and we didn't get any hardpoint either though. So
well, hardpoint's not even in the game at launch.
At all? Really? What? See, that's sad to me.
Come later.
That makes me sad. When's the competitive scene starting? Do you know? Like, because they're waiting, right? They're not going to do it right away like they usually do because it's franchised. Do you know how that's going to work?
Early 2020, they said.
So, like, is early 2020 like January or like February? Like late, kind of.
Well, if
into it.
Usually a year is considered in quarters. Mm-hmm. So early would be the first quarter, I'm assuming, which falls January, February, March. So I'm assuming somewhere around there. I'm guessing it'll. You know, it won't serve them well to start it late.
Yeah.
Like the earlier they started, the better it'll be because, keep in mind, the new game comes out next fall, so they have to allow themselves, you know, as much space as possible. So, I'm assuming it's going to be towards the middle of January because with the Pro League for this year started middle of January, so I'm assuming it's going to be around that time.
Have you, when you're, how do I put this? When you're, I guess, looking up the information, because you work for Fortnite and Call of Duty when it comes to Dick Serta, right? Those are the two things you write the most on?
Apex.
And Apex now? What is you got to enjoy Call of Duty the most, right? Like, there's no way. Like, it's got to be Call of Duty.
I enjoy writing about all three.
Really? You don't, not like writing about any of it?
No.
Do you have a story? Do you have a story you've done that you're, like, particularly proud of?
Bro, you want to know how many articles I've written since I started?
I know it's bananas. I've looked at your page and just scrolled and been like... like, I was like... sometimes I'm like, if I click on this, is it just gonna be like, hey, it's a hard, want to be hard, like this shit you say to me all the time? Like, am I just gonna read? Yeah, am I just gonna read nonsense? Like, there's no way that he's writing this. It's crazy how much you write. It really is bananas. The amount that you write on that site. Like I'm proud. Like I feel like a proud brother.
As of today, I have 1,859 articles.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take that as a no on. There's not really one particular article.
Now there's like some that are stand out.
Yeah.
It's just there's just way too many factors in what goes into a good article versus not.
Do you have are there specific aspects that you really enjoy about writing?
About writing or my job?
About your job, yeah.
Oh yeah, the fact that I work from home.
Yeah, that's gotta be awesome.
Yeah, that's like that is.
Like creatively though.
I mean, the two best things about this job are the fact that I write for esports, and I work from home. Those are the two. Well, three I should say, because the pay is very decent.
Yeah.
It's not enough for me to go buy a Lamborghini, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's enough for me to be able to like not work, not live paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
Although not living paycheck to paycheck, there's like two ways of like saying that, because like one way of saying living paycheck to paycheck is like, oh, I can't pay this month's bills if I don't get my next paycheck. But the other way is kind of where I fall in, where I could survive, but if my next paycheck just didn't come, I would not be able to like have as much fun.
Yeah, I understand.
Because like obviously there are people there who can go fucking years without getting a paycheck and be fine.
Yeah.
Like I still need that money to come in so that I'll be able to supplement, like, because I'll still be able to pay the rent and pay for my food and stuff, but I won't be able to eat as like liberally as I do. Like in terms of my food choices, I would have to be more conservative with how I spend my money.
Yeah.
So but in terms of like my pay, it's decent.
We get it. You're rich. We understand.
The people I work with, are cool.
They seem cool. The ones that we met in Anaheim this year, the ones that you hadn't met in person until then, they were so awesome, dude. They wouldn't let me into the event because I had my book bag.
Right.
And your boys were like, yo, we'll just put it in the Dick Serto office.
Yeah.
We had never met them. You had never met. You'd only you'd spoken to them. Like,
I had
you had
met
them
one
in person.
I had met the other. I had met one, but I've spoken to them very much.
Yeah, like through.
They
like
recognized
outlets.
me. I didn't even recognize one because, I guess because my picture in our, in what we use to communicate with each other, in our workspace, my picture is very clearly me. But I guess his picture was one of those where it's like a wide shot of him, so you can't really see his face. So, but he called my name, and I was like looking around. I was like, who the fuck is calling me? And then I didn't even know who it was until he came and like introduced himself.
Yeah.
Like he was like walking towards me. I was like, I don't know this guy. How is he calling my name?
It was so cool seeing that side of the event. Like when we went up to get my bag later, like seeing that little side. And when Envoy walked out, I was like, "Hey, Envoy." He was like,
"Yeah."
I was like, "That was weird." I was like, "What just happened?" He was very, he was very nice. He was very. I'm not gonna name the names who weren't, but it's always refreshing meeting those like pros, and when they are cool, because like when you and me met Crim6, super cool guy, very friendly, very nice, formal to me at least, was very nice. Courage, Seth, Scumpy, so many. Envoy, Mike, we're friends. Mike and Simp, meeting them was like meeting one of the homies, but like it got really easy for me to meet famous people because of these events. Because like now I've gone to like comedy shows and I've met Patton Oswalt and I met Theo Vaughn, Lee Delaria, like all these people, and I've like not just met them but like shook their hand and like exchanged words. And I mean we didn't have a giant conversation, but like me and Lee Delaria were at the airport just hanging out. Me and Nathan were there and like we were just chatting a little bit, and like I wasn't like losing my shit. My brother met Theo Vaughn and lost his mind. And my brother, when I'm talking to him, is very calm, very cool and collected. Like he's funny and he'll make you laugh and say like be all like crazy and be funny there, but like if we were talking about a serious thing, he's very serious. And it was so surprising because I was like, yeah, he's gonna be just like me. we're gonna both meet Theo Von and be like, yo, Theo, what's up, dude? You inspire us for comedy. We enjoy your style, blah blah whatever. And my brother's like, hey Theo, hey, and like hugged it. He's like, hey, picture, take a picture, like just losing his mind. And I think us like Nick was the big one, obviously, because for like, a year until I met him, this was my Johnny Carson, my Jimmy Fallon, my guy I get online every night and watch.
Right.
Like the majority of the entertainment I was taking every night was this Greek guy, this fucking meathead in Michigan, screaming at us every time someone subscribed to him for a year.
Right.
And then like to meet him was surreal. That was my first real like meeting a celebrity moment, like where it felt like I was meeting a celebrity, where like that was my Jimmy Fallon, that was my fill in the blank, Jay Leno, whoever you want to pick. And for Nick to be so welcoming, and I mean to continue, I mean obviously it's transcended any kind of like entertainer and fan thing that it ever would have been. But like with all the other surrounding people in that sphere, we've met so many big streamers and pro players who are all so friendly and nice, and it's made meeting famous people very like, it's not as scary. It's not as like I'm not as like befuddled by the concept of talking to them.
Okay, they're just like a person.
Yeah, there's a guy. It's like when you meet Aiden and you realize how short he is. It's like people are just, the camera really does make people seem huge.
Or Kunta Kinte.
Yeah, Kunta Kinte. Great guy.
That was crazy.
That was crazy, dude. Why do you hold that flight up? Wasted all of our time.
I'm just going to look over there.
Yeah.
Because anything I say beyond this point may or may not be.
Yeah, we shouldn't go further. Yeah, let's not go down that one much further.
Yeah. Why are you laughing?
I'm not, dude. I'm not.
What do you mean you're not? You clearly laughing.
I'm just my head. Whenever you decide to filter, I'm thinking like, how bad could it be? Because you say some crazy shit. Like,
well, I'm filtering because we're on screen.
Yeah, I know. But like, still, even then, like, it's still so funny.
You know what I would be saying right now if we weren't on screen.
Oh yeah, I know. like when Shake finally gets a webcam and decides to do this, it'll be the stream that like I'm the most actually worried about.
Right.
Because we've had conversations about like when Joe Rogan has like said the N-word on his podcast, like on YouTube, and like Shake has been like, dude, I don't care. We should be able to say whatever we want. And I'm like, oh my god, Shake, you can't say shit like that to me because I'm never gonna have you on the podcast. Like, you know what I mean? Because Shake, not to say that he would say that, but Shake would say whatever he wants and he wouldn't care. And it would be awesome and hilarious. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, Twitch is not YouTube. Twitch has TOS. We could definitely
Twitch
get
is a lot more strict. Yeah,
way more. It's crazy how strict they are. I can't believe it, but I get it.
Yeah.
Where do you see this all going? As far like not like Dexerto itself, but our little group is in so many weird little avenues of this community. When it comes to Twitch as one thing, with you and Dexerto being another, the pro scene with the ties we have, like we're in a strange little group of people that know all these guys and are kind of in the back alley. Like there's the stage. The stage is set for all these guys, right? All these pro players and these streamers and all these whatnots, and we're right behind them and we know them all and we're kind of figuring it out. We're kind of like wading the waters, and you found a job, like a lot of people are finding jobs doing this shit.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
like the further we go when it comes to like the big argument for like AI and jobs right now is that AI is about to take over driving and take like 70 million driving jobs over the next however many years. I see a lot of people who aren't here yet figuring out what Twitch is and how accessible and easy it is and making their living just, making enough to survive, but on Twitch. Like doing this to an extent or doing something related to Twitch to an extent. Something, and not Twitch by itself, just that's the example is what I mean.
Right. The problem with like that is like a basic law of economics is supply and demand, right?
Yeah.
The higher the demand, the easier and more expensive you can sell the supply. Um, it's basically like the same concept with like streaming and content creation, in that you have content and viewership, right? So if the viewership demand is high, then it's much easier to get your content, much easier to see results from your content because people will be able to watch. But conversely, if there's way too much content out there, did my fucking webcam freeze?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm trying to. Yeah, I mean, the audio is fine as long as we can hear you. It's okay. Oh, there we go.
Should be good now.
Yep.
So if you have way too much content out there on various platforms and there's not enough viewership, or the viewership is because viewership is this type of thing where it's like Twitch, like viewing content is not a commodity. You don't need it to survive technically.
Yeah.
So it's very unpredictable, right? As
Yeah.
opposed to like, okay, people are hungry, so they'll buy food.
Yeah.
But you know, so you can't really, first of all, you can't really gauge patterns of viewership. You can't gauge how many people are going to end up viewing, how many people aren't. So that's why it's so hard to become a content creator now and be successful, because the more content creators there are, the more content there is, and there's not enough viewers for all that to go around where every person makes a decent living out of it.
Yeah.
And the more people that do it, the harder it gets to be successful. I mean, so I think, yeah, at first on paper and at first sight, you look at something like YouTube and you look at Twitch, and you're like, bro, I could do that.
Yeah.
This guy's making all millions of dollars. I mean, I don't have to make millions of dollars, but I can make like a fraction of that and be fine. But
A lot of people aren't willing. I think that there's a lot of people that if they stuck with it, like if they were about the grind, I mean, they would.
Well, the thing about
make it. Like it's all about that Twitter clip. It's that one thing that pushes you over the edge.
Exactly. So the thing, so success, okay, is composed of two things, okay? Hard work and timing.
Yeah.
Good timing.
Great
Almost,
timing
I mean,
in Twitch.
Yeah, exactly. So when you look at Twitch, you can find people who have been streaming regularly every day for years
and have 100 viewers.
Right, and not even that.
Yeah.
And then you look at people who get big quick. Not quick like overnight, but they have a steady rate of success that keeps going up, eventually to like super success. And it really, you can't have success without those two things both happening. Like you could work your ass off and not have that big break, like you said, like that moment where you get found out, and you could just be stuck in that plateau forever. And on the opposite side of that is you might get that big break, but if you don't continue putting work, you'll eventually
it can just go away.
Right.
Yeah. You have to keep going. That's the big problem. Is there's so many people who are inconsistent. Like with Ewok, I talked about it earlier today. Ewok, like how many people would she have watching her? Not a crazy amount.
No.
It'll be very, very, like what did she have? I mean, I was never in there before. No. I mean, let's just assume she had 50 viewers. Like just benefit of the doubt, 50 viewers per stream. She signs "Happy Birthday" to Ninja, and signed to FaZe.
Right.
I mean, she's got like an insane viewership now,
right,
and a huge Twitter following. She's verified on like this girl is making money. She is doing it, and it took that clip. There's so many streamers that have popped, like exploded, and dude, I mean, we know streamers that have all the charismatic and all the energy and all of the skill that these guys have that they Derek is the one Twitter clip away from really I sit in his stream. He's the only person that I sit in the stream and I actually watch because I'm enjoying what he says and the gameplay, even though it's Fortnite. Like I'm like he's an entertainer. He's good at it. I mean, it's like watching Fresh Prince Will Smith play Fortnite. Like he is so energetic and full of energy, and like actually funny. Like says funny, well-timed jokes. Like he's so good. Like it's insane how good he is. And then you have people like You have other people that like K Madify, who is like his own thing. He's not even like, I don't know how to describe him other than he's an artist that was made for Twitch. Like he uses the most insane extent of what Twitch has to offer when it comes to, or really just streaming in general, when it comes to OBS and scene cutting. Kind of like the Dr. Disrespect, right. How he has all those scenes. Right. Madify does it, but like to a much more insane extent. Like Pooty33, guy that used to chair surf, and Nick would chair surf when he resubbed. That guy, I mean, these are the people that they're like one YouTube clip away from exploding and being these huge streamers.
But that's what makes it all tough, man. Like, that's never guaranteed.
Yeah, it's never guaranteed. It's horrifying. That it's never. It's like if it's all you have and you're really throwing everything into it, it's this chasm that you're never gonna see the light until you do. Until someone drops a flashlight. Until they retweet. Until Ninja sees your thing and retweets you. Until Nick sees your thing and retweets. Until someone, whoever it is, sees you and decides you're next. Here's your moment. Don't fuck it up. You know what I mean? It's crazy. And, like, for me, you know, doing the podcast is fun. You know, like, some people subscribe. And I didn't think it would happen as fast as it did as far as the amount. Like, it's enough to where it's like, oh, well, I guess I'm getting a paycheck from Twitch. Like, it's nothing crazy. Right. It's not, you know, it's not what I make it my job by, even at all. Like, but it's enough to where I'm getting paid every month, which is cool. But if I didn't have my other job, I would be depressed. I'd be horrified. I'd be like, dude, this is what I have to rely on? Yeah, how am I going to live? Like, this is the kind of thing where, like, if it works out, dope. You know, dope. Cool. Right. But, like, I just want to do it because I'm sick and tired of watching podcasts and thinking to myself, man, I would ask this. Man, I would ask that. Man, I wish people could hear Alberto's point of view. I wish they could hear Nathan. I wish they could hear, you know,
I do that
name the people, Big Brofly, whoever it is.
I do that while watching a lot of sports shows. Because I consider myself very knowledgeable when it comes to sports, like very.
I like listening to you talk about sports that I don't even like. Like I didn't like because I'm like, yo, Albert, tell me about it because I haven't watched that. What's it about? And like you'll sit there for 20 minutes and like, oh shit, I didn't know that about like soccer or whatever it is.
Like, dick ball.
Dick ball's pretty good. That's one of the.
Yeah, but anyway, so like I consider myself very knowledgeable when it comes to sports and not just like facts and trivia, but like actual like conceptual understanding of sports. And so, like, that's why I don't like watching too many of those sports analysis shows. Not, like, actual sporting events, but, you know, those programs, like those morning programs and afternoon programs of, like, people sitting at a desk and just talking about sports and, like, what's what and why is why and whatever. I don't like watching those because it kind of gets me mad because a lot of the time I think, okay, I could do a better job than that, and I should be there. Even though, have I done anything to deserve it, or have I been proactive in trying to do that? No. But it just gets me pissed knowing that I could.
Yeah.
Like,
if you dedicated all your time to that thing.
Or like if I woke up in the morning and somebody said, "Hey, you're a sportscaster," like, or sports analyst, like it wouldn't throw me off. Like obviously the initial shock would be like, "What the fuck just happened overnight?" but like it wouldn't throw me off. Like I wouldn't be like I can't handle that because I could. Like you know, because what's the difference? I mean, it's not like first of all, 90% of the time you're not doing it in front of a live audience. You're just sitting in a production studio. Yeah. And the people who you are talking sports with, a lot of times they're people you're either acquainted with or you're friends. You know, because you know they're also sports figures like yourself. So how's that any different from me sitting at a desk with like my real friends and talking sports and sharing my point of view?
How is it different from us sitting on here and talking about Twitch? You know, I mean, it's like it's all so similar. Us just. Not just us. I mean, people.
Because I always thought to myself, man, I'm like, bro, if I just woke up one day and I had like 100,000 YouTube subs,
dude, yeah, we've had this conversation. It's such
we wouldn't
like our group specifically, like you know, like Scene Anners, how I used to have that little like 5 or 6 people that would be in all the videos.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
If you, me, Shake, Nathan, and Bumper had a YouTube channel with even 50,000 subs right off the bat, like we would explode. The funny, we could make no problem.
The problem is getting on the map, which is the hardest part.
That's the hardest part. You have to have people know. People have to figure out who you are. People have to find
none of us can really afford to throw our lives away in chasing of that.
Yeah.
Which is why we all do what we do. And none of us are YouTube stars.
Yet.
Yeah.
Yet. I don't know. I feel. I don't know. Out of all of us, Shake would be the best at being like the guy who he wouldn't do the content himself. He would feed us the content, you know. Like you and me, I could see you or me being the face of one of these things.
Right.
And like Nathan being the spawn off channel and Bumper being the legend that no one knows about for real. They just hear
Right.
his voice every once in a while.
Yeah, like Jack in that Unbox Therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be amazing. Like you specifically, like you really could explode if you had like an entertainment based channel. It's crazy.
All it would take would be like a couple of thousand, like 10, 50, whatever, 50, 100, whatever. Just some like a loyal viewer base.
Yeah, because once the right people start spreading, they're not gonna stop spreading your message, your content. They're like, you got to see this, and eventually enough people see it, and it explodes. I mean, how many YouTube channels have? There's so many YouTube channels that have like 10 million subscribers.
Right, dude. My IRL friend back home, like my neighbor, who I would spend a lot of time with, like hanging out, like going to food places and movies.
Yeah,
dude, he has. Last he told me, he has over 8 gigs of videos on his iPhone of just me doing stupid shit in public. like you know what I would do? I would go to movie theaters, and after the movie, I would empty my bucket of popcorn, put it over my head, and use the echoing of that to create a Bane voice, and just walk around the movie theater like citing Bane quotes. Like I have like
darkness was your
yeah, exactly. Like I would do stupid shit like that. Like I have clips of me like hanging off the side of like his car while he's driving on the street, and he's like videotaping me from the inside, like stupid shit like that. And that shit, like people love that kind of stuff, bro. That's how like half of those people who, when Vine was a thing, that's how half.
Oh
of them
my
became,
god,
like,
dude! And they're all still, and they all just decided, okay, we're gonna make YouTube channels and
exactly,
all be in each other's videos like we are on Vine all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you look at David Dobrik, dude. That's one of the guys. He's gonna be The Rock. He is going to be what The Rock is today. He's going to be the famous person one day.
Right.
Like to people our age, like to girls our age, and to guys to just our age range.
Right.
Like he is the most famous person our age on the planet right now. And if he's not, he's on his way to be. Like he will be. I mean, short of him committing crime.
He's not a polarizing figure like
not even a little
some of the other big YouTubers. So like. There really isn't like a constituency of people that like don't like him, you know.
Yeah.
There might be some here and there, but like, you know, when you look at like Logan Paul,
it's hard not to like him. He's a cool. Right. He seems like a cool dude.
When you look at like Logan Paul and like people like that, like they're polarizing. There are people who don't like those guys, you know. But with Dave Dobrik, it's like, you know, why would you not like him? Like, he doesn't really do anything controversial, like, you know. He's funny. His videos are quality. They're like not generic. You know, the base ideas might be like something not original, like in some senses, but like they take things to a whole new level. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Like somebody described it on like one of those React channels. They were like, his vlogs are like, it's a bunch of friends and then everything happens.
Bro, but I feel
that's
like
what it's called. That's what we would do. That's what we would be.
It might sound egotistical, but like if I had 100,000 subs, like we would do that.
Dude, that's all we would do. If we had 100,000 subs, I would move in a minute. We would all get a house. We would all get a house somewhere where there is a public. I mean, we would just go to a college. We would just go to a college and troll kids all the time. Like that's all. Are you kidding? You, me, Shake, Nathan, and Bumper. That is a vlog squad. That is a squad of people. It's crazy.
I feel like after some time of getting used to how things work, we would do like probably just as good of a job as Dave Dobrik does.
Mm-hmm.
Like why not?
I mean, once the money's flowing, like he spends like $100,000 on a video.
Yeah, I know.
Sometimes like it's crazy. He had David Blaine on yesterday. like it's crazy the amount of insane like lengths he goes to make some of these vlogs happen. Like.
And I don't think like when it comes down to it, like we're short of any creativity when it would compare to him.
Not even a little bit.
Like, because we would come up with funny shit to do. Like, there's no doubt about it. Like, if that was our job, like, think about it. Like, we could sit here and be like, "Ha, dude, wouldn't it be great if we could do this or that?" But if it was our fucking job, Like,
Dude,
we would actually sit down and be like, all right, here's the
we'd
plan.
fill the Grand Canyon with Fruit Loops. Like, we'd figure out some
Yeah,
crazy
yeah,
shit. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, we'd do
Like, I mean, that's
the
what Mr.
insane.
Beast does, bro. That's how
Yeah.
Mr. Beast is famous. That's
Dude,
literally, that's not even funny.
It's not even funny. He's like, well, I
Right,
figured out an algorithm. I'm going to buy a store and give all the stuff away to people and film
right,
that. I'm going to
right.
buy all the cars on a car lot and give them away to people for $1 each, or
I think
give them
Dave,
$500.
I think he's even a more extreme example than David Dobrik
Oh
is,
yeah,
because at least David Dobrik is like funny, and there's people in his videos that are funny, like all
like
those,
it's comedic. Like they're doing bits. They're
right.
having fun, doing fun things.
Mr.
Mr.
Beast
Beast
isn't
just
even
gives
funny.
stuff away now.
Yeah,
Like it's just him and
Dude,
his awkward nerdy friends.
I think for his
and
like
it's
10
entertaining.
million, for his like 10 million subscribers or something, or whatever it was, he delivered $40,000 in pennies to a dude's house,
Yep.
and like there was nothing funny about what he did or said, but the situation was fucking hilarious.
It's
'Cause the guy
amazing.
was like,
The guy
yeah,
has $40,000 in pennies now.
yeah, pennies, yeah. And so, I mean, like, if he could get famous off doing stupid shit like that, we could combine those two things, like what Dave Dobrik does, and then the extreme measures that Mr. Beast goes to, and like, why wouldn't we be able to like get that kind of success? The problem is like
Getting that
right now,
base.
right now we don't have enough where we could all enough time or money where we could all invest in starting up something like that without knowing it's gonna have success. It's different when, like we said, when you can wake up and have 100K subscribers, because now you know, okay, we've made it, like to the checkpoint, like a video game. Like you save it, auto save it to that point where no matter what, we'll have those subs. Now we build on it. But right now, if we wanted to get to that point, we'd have to invest a lot of money and a lot of time, which none of us really have, like, for that kind of purpose, to be able to build a channel from zero to like that many subs to start off and then continue to build it. Because like you said, at some point, the success you reach is enough where it's self-funding.
Yeah. Like you can spend ridiculous money because you're gonna make that back, no problem.
Yeah, and plus more. Like you get
And
X amount
plus,
of money,
yeah.
you can spend half of that X amount of money on the next video and earn, like, you just double your profit every time by invest. It's like investing. I mean, you're investing in a surefire product, in a 100% guaranteed product. But right now, we can't invest in a 100% guaranteed product. We'd invest in a 0.01% product because, I mean, no matter how crazy shit we do, first of all, we don't even have the funds to do the crazy shit. Like, how would we be able to like afford doing some stupid crazy thing? And then imagine how fucked up it would feel like if we spent a lot of money like trying to do something crazy to get people's attention on YouTube, and then no one notices it.
It'd be nuts. I mean,
Yeah.
I see like if Nick ever gets to a point where he doesn't want to do gaming anymore, but he wants to continue YouTube, like there's nothing stopping him from like slowly integrating David Dobrik-esque videos, or even Mr. Beast. I mean, it's when you have the audience at this point.
Yeah.
If you find a strategy that works, I mean, just why not? Do 10 videos, see if they work out, see if people like it, and if they do, keep doing that, and you can slowly start to phase out of doing it. Like Captain Sparkles, he has like 8 YouTube channels.
Right.
And like one's for gaming, one's for car videos, one's for car vlogs, another one's for vlogs, one's
Like
for
Vicstar,
music.
I think Vicstar has like 5 channels with 1 million subs or more.
Yeah. It's and he's probably posting to each one daily.
Right.
Like that is nuts.
See, that would ultimately that would be the dream.
That would be the
'Cause
dream. Like if we each had our own and made our own videos.
I would much rather do YouTube than Twitch.
Yeah, like if there was one that you had to pick to do, like the problem with Twitch, or the problem with YouTube rather, is that like when you start making money, you have to get to a certain point to even begin, and at the very least you can, like I think the appeal of Twitch is that like you technically can very quickly get paid, like right away. It's some, you can get paid something right away if you have the right.
Yeah, the thing with Twitch is you earn money on the spot basically because of the donations.
Because YouTube, you have to hit like a certain amount of followers, and even then you have to have like the viewership has to be there.
I think when it comes to having established success, I would go with YouTube because Twitch is live, and when it's live, it's much more of a pressure on you because in the when it comes to making YouTube videos, you're on your own pace. As long as you get it done. Like if you want to upload 4 times a week, that's fine. you could upload whenever you want. You could get that done whenever you want. Whereas Twitch, if you have to stream 4 times a week, you have to stream 4 times a week.
Yeah.
Like if you really wanted to, you could do a whole week's of YouTube work in one day by making 4 videos in one day and then publishing them throughout the week. But in Twitch, you can't stream 4 days worth in one day and then say, okay, I streamed 4 days this week.
Yeah.
Like, that's not how it works. So the schedule.
We could do 8. We could do 10 podcasts in one day, and not do anything for 2 weeks.
Exactly. Yeah. So YouTube's much easier when it comes to like putting out content.
Yeah.
Than Twitch is, because Twitch also, when you're live, like there is no pausing and cutting and editing and adding an effect to enhance the viewer experience.
There's some things you can do. I mean, when it comes to Twitch, there's graphics and stuff you can do if you really want to be crazy.
Sure.
But it's nothing like having the hindsight of what's coming next and knowing for sure.
Because you could record something on YouTube and not like the way you did something and re-record it.
Yeah.
But on Twitch, if you say a joke and it's bad, you can't just be like, okay, forget it, I'm going to do another joke. Like,
yeah. You can, but it's going to be really awkward.
yeah, exactly. So I just, I kind of feel like hindsight obviously is a beautiful thing. I kind of feel like there a lot of opportunities went wasted like throughout our careers, because I feel like, again, you say this knowing what the future came to be, but like in the past, like if we had known what was going to be happening in the world, like we would have definitely jumped on that thing, on the trends, on the stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean, like no one could have predicted the boom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
sure.
Even now, I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, is the boom still happening?
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
It feels like every other month there's a new giant YouTuber.
Right. Exactly.
So like, granted, there's millions of us trying to do it, but at the same time, it's like, you never know if for some reason your clip's just gonna get out there and explode and be the next one.
It also like depends really of like what kind of background you come from, because like me growing up, bro, my parents like treated video games like this big taboo thing. I didn't even have internet until I was in high school.
Yeah.
I didn't even have my first gaming console until I could afford it myself by saving birthday money.
Then when I see the light until I was already a man.
Yeah, and so like, and there's kids who like nowadays, obviously with Fortnite.
Oh my God, they're 8.
They tell their parents what they're gonna do, and their parents don't tell them shit.
Yeah.
I mean, they're millionaires.
That's crazy.
They're millionaires because of Fortnite, and so like, we didn't have that growing up, and some people did go that extra mile and play video games competitively and professionally, even when professional video gaming wasn't a big thing yet, like Nick.
And where it wasn't making like insane money yet either.
Yeah, like a lot of people, when they ask Nick like, hey, how'd you make it on Twitch? Like, people forget that before Nick even like started like streaming full time, he already had like a base when it came to his Gears of War.
So like when he started, like the first day, he says he had like 300 subscribers.
Yeah, people already knew who he was, and that obviously plays like a significant role in viewership. So and that's not to take away from anything, because it's not like he won the lottery. He had to become a pro player to do that. So, and he did. So it did pay off for people who did actually play video games professionally when video games wasn't like this big thing, like like the older Gears guys like CDN and High Distortion and Nick, and like the old Call of Duty pros, not the new ones, but like the OG ones, like
your nade shots, your scumpies, your placers.
Exactly. So those guys were playing Call of Duty when they had to like probably buy a ticket like their parents had to buy a ticket for them to go to an event.
Mm-hmm.
Where like events were played in a conference room. Now they're played in fucking stadiums.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
That League of Legends tournament last year, dude, with the dragon.
Oh yeah. Well, League of Legends is insane.
It's like a global phenomenon.
Yeah, it's a global phenomenon. So like their viewership for their fucking World's Finals is big, more than Super Bowl is. Like, yeah. So it's like
and people are finally starting to pick up. Like, it's starting to be understood that that's what's happening.
Yeah.
You are an only child.
Mm-hmm.
Correct? So,
well, my dick.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're both sentient. I just see you, but smaller. Anyway,
My face on the dick.
how crazy was it meeting everybody like for the first time? Like how? Because for me, I have siblings, and it was this insane, crazy feeling. But like, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how different it would be for you, not
Well,
having.
the thing for me is when I was young, growing up in Armenia, I had like a lot of cousins, and then when I was young, I moved here, and then very shortly thereafter, um, my cousins moved here too.
Mm-hmm.
So when it came to like siblings, yeah, I don't have like siblings, but like I've been around family members for most of my life, so I've always had that sibling kind of presence near me. But I've never really had connections with people like the way I do now with our friends.
Yeah.
Like I've never had a problem making friends. I've never had a problem talking to people, but I've just never liked like going out of my way to. At least ever since I became an adult.
Yeah.
Like when I was a kid, like I would talk, I was like sort of like the class clown type in like high school, middle school, where like, a lot of people, I wasn't popular like by any means, but a lot of people knew me through like, you know, having spent years with them in school and stuff. And so like I had those friends, but like no matter how hard you try, 90% of your friends disappear after high school. Like
Yeah. It's
when
nuts.
I was in high school, like I had such close like bond friendships with some people, man. Like people who lived near me, like we would spend just as much time outside of school as we would together in school.
Yeah.
Like I don't talk to barely any of them anymore, like one or two maximum.
Yeah.
Uh,
It was
you
like
know,
all my friends in my town, like outside of like two or three of them, most of them I met after school. Like I met
mhm.
outside of school and like never was at school with them. I mean it's nuts when you finally find those cuz when you're right, when you're in high school and you're friends with those guys, it's like that's your life. That is the
Bro,
fun part of your life is like
I
hanging out
look
with those
back,
people.
I look back at the time and I kind of feel sad. I'm not gonna lie, I feel sad
Me too. I mean,
because a lot
I
of
think
those
everyone
guys,
does.
I loved a lot of those guys. Like
Yeah.
those are
I mean,
my
I think
brothers.
the people that had friends in high school, like I didn't have a lot of I didn't have many friends that I would say were like because I moved a lot or not a lot but
Mm,
I moved when I was a kid. I went to elementary school in the same middle school or in the same elementary school when I was a
mm-hmm.
kid, and then I moved towns when I ended elementary school, and I went to two different middle schools and then I went to my one high school, but the way that the classes were all set up, like it wasn't the same class. So I was always with different people, and
Mm-hmm.
very few friends did I have classes with outside of being because all my friends I was friends with outside of class. I didn't have classes with any
Mm-hmm.
of them. It was like lunch and like beginning of the day at school. And
Right,
the
yeah.
only reason the two friends that I really kept really close to stayed my friends was because we all got a job together at the same time.
Right.
And like that's the
So
only reason.
you maintain continuity outside of school. Yeah,
Exactly. So like
right,
that, those relationships become very close. But
right.
outside of school, I mean, there are two friends from school that I'm friends with now, but like I only see, I see one of them two or three times a year, and the other one I see maybe once every 2 or 3
And dude,
weeks.
we tried like to consistently see each
It
other
just
because a lot of
doesn't. It
them,
just
a lot
doesn't
of them went to,
happen.
a lot of went to them went to school like outside of state. So like,
Yeah.
we all and by the way, like my group of friends was like when it came to academics, they were literally the top
Yeah.
of the school. Like our group of friends, like we had about six or seven like guys. Um, we were all in the top 20 when it came to GPA. One went to Harvard, one went to Dartmouth, one went to UCLA, a couple went to UCLA, one went to USC. Like all of them were very top notch when it came to like academics. I was right there with them, but I had a laziness issue. So
Hmm.
when it came to being smart,
I was
I
the
was.
I was the bottom of the top. All my
Mm,
friends were the really smart people, and I was like, I wasn't the level below them. I was the level below them. I was passing very well. I had A's and B's. That's pretty much it. But it's those B's that kill you when you're hanging out with the like whatever's ahead of A people. The
right,
5 and 6 GPA people.
right.
Like I mean, those were my friends, and it was very what's the word? Uh, I had a lot of humility,
Right.
because I was like, okay, I'm definitely hanging out with kids who are smarter than me. Like, there's
Yeah,
no doubt
the
about it.
thing with me is on an intelligence level, I was just as smart, if not smarter than them,
Yeah,
because
it's just that
I've
laziness.
always been sharp. I just like honestly, it just came down to I never did homework.
Yeah, dude, I never
Like
did homework, not
came
once.
to when it came to
I
like
never failed an exam.
when it came to examinations, I did brilliantly. I took 9 AP courses in high school. 9. When I started
Never did
college,
homework.
when I started college, I started as a sophomore because I already from my high school credits, I had enough where I skipped my freshman year of college because I had enough credits where I was like on my transcript, I started off as a sophomore. But the problem is my grades weren't as sharp as superb because of not doing homework will drop your grades. So I
Yeah,
finished with like a 3.8 GPA, 3.89 I think was the GPA
in high school.
in high school, and um, I just and a lot of those guys came from like a lot families that were a lot more well off than mine, so
Yeah,
they had the freedom to go to schools outside of state and be able to pay for them. I mean, I went to, I went direct. I didn't go to community college. I went directly to university. I'm proud of, what I studied. What I would like. Sometimes I have to remind myself, like, I have a degree in biochemistry, like a bachelor of science. Like, that's not still something you find on the street.
yeah,
It may not be what I do now for work, but it's still something that I'm proud of. Like, I
yeah.
even like, I
And you
even took,
should be. I mean, dude, there's
yeah,
so many people that they'll never even come close to anything
my,
remotely like it. I mean,
it gives me
you
comfort
have
of my,
stumbled into like one of the better outcomes that someone like
right,
you could get into. Like, you did go to school, you found a job, you
right.
went to school, but you didn't need what you went to school for. But you do have that at the
Oh
very
yeah.
least, it like as like a just in
Like
case. Like, you have
how
this
many people have
accolade.
that?
No,
How
no
many
one,
people?
dude. There's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
1%
Because
of the population,
because
not
the
even, kind of close to that.
the thing with like a career, right, is like when you go to school and study for whatever, and then you use that degree to find a job, and then you establish a career. If you don't like it, then you're fucked. Because like, what are you gonna do? Like, you don't
You're
like
just
it,
gonna
you
do
have
that
no
job
choice.
and live your
Right,
sad,
right.
gruesome life, not doing
So
what you want to do.
I have the luxury of if this esports thing, whatever I do, whatever it becomes at the end of the day, if it works out
Yeah,
for me in the long run,
awesome.
great.
Yeah,
But if I realize I'm walking on a treadmill and I'm not moving forward and a long time has passed, like there's no deadline for me to go back to get my master's. You know what I mean? There's no deadline for me to
you
go and get my
have that
PhD.
thing already.
Yeah, I already have the foundation for that. So all I would have to do is just go back and get a higher degree so I could get like a major career. So it's I always have to remind myself of that whenever I have like doubts about like what am I gonna do? Like I can't. Am I gonna write for this journal for the rest of my life? Like I always sometimes like we all have moments of self reflection, and I always think like what am I gonna do with my life? And then I'm thinking like, listen, not to sound like egotistical, but I have established myself. I've established a very good situation for myself through college and getting my degree in the job I have now, and I'm just gonna roll with it, and we'll see which direction the ball rolls. It's really gonna roll either one or two ways. Either esports is gonna be my future until until I'm no longer working, or esports is no esports is gonna end up like taking on water, and I'm just gonna have to like go back.
Figure out how to
Yeah,
get out of the fucking ocean.
right, exactly. So I always have to remind myself like you have it good.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people don't have that kind of situation. And yes, yeah, when I saw some of my closest, my like bestest friends I've ever had in my life at the time, going to like Harvard and Dartmouth and Ivy League schools, sure, there was a part of me like, man, I wish I had like tried harder in school because um, it's never really a good feeling knowing. Like it's one thing to like look at a guy dunking at a basketball game and be like, yeah, I can never do that. No matter how I try for the rest of my life, I will never be able to dunk a basketball. But there's another thing to be like see somebody doing something and be like, all I have to do is just try harder, and I could have done that too. All it
Yeah.
took, like I have the mental capacity and the intelligence to have gone to Ivy League school. Like there's no doubt about it in my mind. Like, will I be able to ever play sports professionally? No. Will I be able to ever like paint professionally like my dad, like he's an artist? No. Like, will I be able to sing or play a musical instrument like professionally? No. But like it's not that I think of myself as this like omnipotent God. I just think of myself as like, okay, here are the things that I for sure know I could have done, and for sure I know I couldn't. And like when it came to like going to like an Ivy League school, I know 100% I could have because it was just a matter of just not trying hard enough, like opting to play video games instead of doing my homework. Instead of studying for exam, I would go out like and not study, and then end up like maybe getting a B plus instead of an A or something like that, or getting a B instead of an A. And those things over the course of an entire high school tenure add up. And then at the end, like I still went to a university, I still got a degree, but I didn't go to an Ivy League school. I didn't have like a 4.3 GPA like some of those other guys did. But it's not just me thinking this too. Like my friends would always tell me, man, they would be like, man, if you just tried harder enough, like you could have been like there too. And I always think like, yeah, but then here's the thing about regret. Sorry not to go off too much of a
No,
tangent,
dude,
but
go ahead.
regret is this sort of like thing that people love to feel, but they never like feel it with perspective. Because I always think like regret, like people are very quick to regret something, but they don't take into account how they felt and what their mindset was when that regrettable action took place, right? So like, I may sit here and be like, listen, I regret not trying harder in school. Maybe I regret maybe not going for it all out. Maybe life would have been different for me now. But then I think, okay, but at the time, like there were things I did that were fun. It's not like I was sitting there like chopping my own arm off, thinking, nah, I'm not gonna try hard at school. I'm just gonna kill myself. Like I was actually doing fun stuff. I was actually doing so at the time I was having fun. So yeah, I could sit here and be like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have done that, but I forget that at the time I made that conscious decision to do that. And same thing like when that's why I always like I'm not quick to regret things, man. I'm like deep things, like life-changing things, because I
Yeah.
always think to myself, like who knows where my life would be now if I had made that done differently. I always take all those things into account. I always take into account what my mindset was and how I felt at that time, and I always take into account like what would have changed in my life had I done that differently. And if I had tried harder in school, I may have not known any of you guys, bro. I may have been like some fucking, you know, I
Dude, I
may have
think
been
about
like,
that all the time.
right,
Like, the first night I had internet on a PC, I watched Nick and subscribed.
right,
Like, I
right,
fell into the right lane. Like,
right.
I know what my mindset was. I just as easily could have, walked into, like, I don't know what kind of community. I could have fallen down the wrong pipeline when it comes to
You
the
mean a
internet
Mount
and where
Cobra?
it can. Yeah, sure. No, that's the right pipeline. I felt
Cloud
I
pipeline
got
here.
I, I got very lucky just
Right.
playing video games, wanting to
Yeah.
see other people do it, finding Nick, and it all happening in the same day. Like it was like
Right.
all so immediate.
My journey to this point has been so convoluted and crazy. Like I
Dude,
sometimes think about it and can't believe it.
it's crazy. It's crazy how many
So
things
so
happened
here's
all at once for me
so
because it wasn't just
obviously
that.
yeah, obviously like if that didn't happen, of course there would more than likely be other situations that would compel you to watch Twitch and
Yeah.
maybe come across Nick. Like it's not like that was the do or die. Like it's not
Yeah,
like
it's
if
not
you
like
didn't
if that hadn't happened, I would never have seen him or
yeah,
subscribed.
yeah,
But
exactly. But you can't assume something would happen that hasn't happened, and so you have to always go by what actually did happen.
yep.
And when I was playing FIFA 2014, my friend would one of my closest
What year
IRL
were you
friends,
playing that?
2014.
I know. One of your closest friends. I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself.
One
It was a
of
joke.
my closest friends told me, "Hey, if you want help, um, like with like getting better to play, there's this really good YouTuber that he does good tutorials." So I watched him on YouTube, and at the time when I started watching him, he was involved in this inter YouTuber whatever competition in FIFA. And because of that, I started watching that competition, and because I started watching that competition, I started watching the other YouTubers that were in that competition. And there was one guy that was funny, and he kept talking about my Twitch stream, my Twitch stream, my Twitch stream, and I'm like, what is Twitch? So eventually I clicked the link and I went to his stream, and I started watching his live streams instead of his YouTube videos. Well, both. And then there was a one night where like a lot, or through him, I found a lot of other FIFA streamers. But there was one night where like there were no FIFA streamers on that I knew, and I just clicked Call of Duty, and Nick was number one on the thing. And so I started watching. It was like dead of the night. It was like 1 a.m. in the morning. And at first I'm like, "What the fuck is this douchebag?"
That's
Like,
exactly
yeah,
what
he
I said.
flexes for subs. I'm like, who? No, like I honestly, I can close my eyes and imagine like me lying in bed watching Nick on my phone for the first time ever thinking that.
I remember being like, this is dumb. Like
Yeah,
I
this guy,
remember
like,
being mad
who
at him.
does this guy think he is? Like,
Yeah.
I've told this
It's like
story
you're
many
too
times.
serious,
Like,
bro. Like, that's
yeah, I've told this story many times on like in various like situations. Um, I gave it as a toast once too when we were like having dinner last year at TwitchCon, like in front of like
yeah.
other people. Um, I was just like, but it's still mind-boggling to me because at the time, and then like I didn't even subscribe for like a few weeks after I started watching them. I would donate jokes, like roasts,
Yeah.
and so in I would donate enough times, and my jokes were funny enough where my name became like he started recognizing my name, and then eventually when I subbed,
You're
that sort of
synonymous
like
as the funny guy.
yeah, that sort of like started it. And what really boosted me with in that community, well, when it comes to like Nick was that first Anaheim because only 4 or 5 months later that first Anaheim took place, and we had a lot of situations where like we got to hang out with Nick a lot more than I had anticipated because
Yeah.
that was Nick's first event as well, like public event, meeting up with people,
Yeah.
and like I just imagined it. Okay, we're gonna go, we meet him, we'll take pictures, autograph, and then just leave. But we ended up like all having an opportunity to like hang out and talk and drink and have like funny experiences, funny moments. And then from that moment on, it sort of just let one thing led to another. He modded me in his stream like a short while after that. Um, and then it just sort of, became, and then like we all sort of fell into that niche. Like I fell into that niche that my way. You fell into the niche your way. Nathan fell into the niche his way. Yeah, everybody started falling into that same boat. Through their own paths. And over time, obviously, that boat's turned into a ship because now we have like so many other people within our group of friends that have sort of all found their way to that like point.
I feel like, and I feel like we reflect on it now, fucking 4 years deep, and it's like we remember this crazy, like it's been 4 years and that's so long, but in 20 years, say it's still all this is happening in 20 years, like imagine that
I mean,
nothing
you
has.
can't, dude. You can't even know what's gonna happen like in 6 months, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. But
yeah,
what
like
I mean is like the crazy thing is like those paths we talk about them when we're reflecting as if like it's those paths have happened and that's it and there's no like we could meet people in 6 months that will like be as close to you and me as Nathan and Bumper and Shake are
right,
like when
right,
it comes to 20 years from now. It's
right,
like
right.
what's the difference between 20 years and 24 years? You know what I mean? Like fucking
Yeah,
nothing in the future. So like we'll
yeah.
meet. We probably haven't even met the people that we'll actually be closest to.
The good thing with our friendships that we have now are that there is nothing that I can think of that will happen that can sort of spread us apart. Because when you're in high school, obviously the big thing is you graduate and
And
everybody
you
goes their own
move and
way.
do other
You
things.
move and you go to your own school and you meet other people.
We met
But
after that.
yeah, this isn't something that can end on a graduation or can end or has an expiration date. Because I
Yeah.
feel like now our friendship goes way beyond like any stream or any video game.
Yeah. I
Like
mean, I call
like
Shake up. I've called Shake before just to like say he's like telling me stupid, like just for like
right.
just to call him on the phone.
Dude, when Shake's baby was being born, like I was
Oh,
I was
dude.
I was calling him, I was FaceTiming him, like I FaceTimed him after he was born, and he showed me, and there was no game or streamer or
Nothing. It
community.
was that
Yeah,
was
it
two
was that.
brothers
Yeah.
caring for each
So
other.
Twitch can go bankrupt tomorrow.
We'll
This
all be friends for
yeah,
some
like
crazy shit. We'd have to like cheat. We'd have to like cheat on the other's girl. Like it
like
would be like
like
steal
it
relationship
goes beyond
level
it goes
thing.
beyond even Nick now at this point because
Yeah.
like I've always maintained like now because obviously like Nick's cool but Nick's not my best friend or close friend like you guys are.
Yeah,
Like Nick's
for
somebody
sure.
that Nick's somebody that if I need to I can go to. He's somebody I trust. He's always been good to me, but he's not like a best friend.
Yeah.
Like I like
He's been good to
it would be
so many of us. I mean, he's
yeah, it
been
would be
so much
false.
better than he had any like
Right.
need or like reason to be. Like he
Yeah.
really is more charitable than people I feel like give him credit for that are
It would just
new.
be plain out it would just be plain out false for us, any of us, to say, okay, Nick's our homie. Like I mean
Yeah.
Nick's our like best friend.
Yeah.
But you guys are. And so
Yeah.
like I've always said like obviously this would never happen. It would take something astronomical for this to happen. But if any of us had a falling out with Nick and the stream, like there's no way I would take Nick's stream side over any of
Yeah.
us.
I mean, the only thing that I've ever felt negative about to any extent in this community is when there are big problems between people I know well. You know, people were like, even if I don't know them well, but know them well enough to know like something was misunderstood, or like just drama between people. You know, whether it be you guys and friends of mine that I've become friends with, or with other people in the community. You know, it's one of those
like
things
me
where
and my
like,
cockle.
yeah, exactly. Like, God damn it. But I'm trying to think of a good example without. There's not a good way of putting it. I'm not gonna say names. Yeah, I'm not going to. Names, I'm not. Yeah. But like, imagine you and Bumper. No, imagine you and Nathan hated each other. Imagine that you guys weren't friends anymore.
I can't imagine that.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, if you were and didn't talk to each other, I would still maintain a friendship with both of you. You know, I'm not.
Yeah, of course.
Like, it's hard to pick sides whenever you've spent as much time with everyone.
Like, let me put it this way: if Nathan or Shake or any of you guys like did something like so insane where like Nick would no longer like you, like I would never be like, oh, I can't, I can't talk to you.
There's no way. I mean, I know you. I know so many people in here now more than I know, Nick or any of those guys. I mean, I love those guys, but at the same time, it's not the kind of thing where when people hit me up at Discord or on Twitch whispers, they're like, "Yo, man, I heard Nick was roasting you. Like, this the end?" I was like, "Do you even know what you're attempting to think? Like, what does your mind assume when Nick makes fun of us? Like, you think that it's like the end of the line or something? You think we messed up when we're joking with our friends? Like, some people really want there to be a problem. It's like this thing." I don't know, man.
Some people feed off drama, like they love it.
And I hate it. I hate that. Like, I get some drama being fun. Some drama is fun, but like when it's like toxic. When I was naked? Yeah, that's not drama. That's a Greek comedy. That's like fun. That's entertaining. No, like when it's like toxic, sad drama, like things that are meant to hurt and make people hurt. Like I don't. Like you and Maz, I don't get the want for that. I don't get the like any kind of endorphin rush or any kind of dopamine deposit. Like I don't get when people enjoy that kind of entertainment. Like show Shake that jerky.
Yeah, dude. I was just gonna say Shake it's donkey dick foreskin jerky. It's rare.
It's really good. It's really good. Yo, I had to piss for like 40 minutes. Talk to Shake and Nick in the chat for a second while I take a piss. Super Soaker's name is Nick. That's the Nick I'm talking about. I'll be right back. I have to take a piss.
Yo, Shake, is it weird if I like stand super still, but only my mouth moves when I'm chewing? Like.
Indeed.
Yo, chill, bro. But you're right. Listen, bro, from the jerky I just ate, my farts are gonna be so putrid. They're gonna be so putrid that I think I'm gonna go and fart right in Maz's face so he'll die. Like, there's gotta be some illegal, like, Geneva Convention gases that are formulating in my stomach right now.
I spelled my name twice in cursive.
I was just saying, from all the jerky I've eaten today, there are some, like, gases that would be banned by the Geneva Convention just, like, formulating in my fucking belly right now.
When we were in Vegas and we ate those pastrami sandwiches, and you went to the bath, I had to, like, go in the hall and wait. And, I was like, I guess we're going to spend the rest of the night at the event center and in the casino because I can't be in this room. I will... Like, I feel like I would have, like, developed some kind of fungus on my skin from being in that air. For sure. Yeah, that was a rough...
Shake, sweet and spicy. And, because, like, flavored jerky does get your fart smelling, though. Flavored jerky does get your fart smelling because, that's just how it works. And sometimes when I eat it, and then my farts just smell like fucking horses.
Oh yeah.
And my plan is to trap Maz in a box, and then just fart in there
Dutch
for like
oven
10
him.
minutes. Yeah. A brass bowl, Chinese brass bowl.
He'd probably like that. He's a dog. Isn't it? He'd probably be like, "Oh yes, thank you, Albert. I love this.
Like
This
I
is what
miss
I
him.
wanted."
I miss him really badly right now. Like I want to go down and pet him, and just give kisses and smooches to him.
Well, you want to wrap this thing up? We're like right at 2 hours.
It doesn't matter for me, bro. I could go as long as you want to go.
Well, I kind of want to get to where we're hanging out with the chat a little bit, and this has been a solid 2, and we can always do this, whatever. So for now, I'm thinking I'm gonna stop the recording and say goodbye for the YouTube viewers, and we'll just keep the chat open. And,
Can I still
and
stay
hang
on the
with them.
call?
Yeah, you can still stay on the call. I'm just saying, I feel like a good 2 hours right now is solid, and if we keep going too far without other topics, we will go a little crazy. Yep, keep doing that. Keep doing that until I say stop. Goodbye, YouTube. Twitch.tv/CharlieBoy. Live on the podcast every once in a while. Go follow. And we will talk to you after the podcasts, like I'm about to do with this glorious chat. You guys have a fantastic evening/day or whatever evening. And thank you, Father, for watching. My dad is watching. Goodbye.